Today we're diving headfirst into the potentially wallet-melting madness that is Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, if the rumours are true, this might be the first game to slap you with a $100 price tag, just for the base game. So it begs the question, if we're coughing up that kind of cash, should we be expecting more bang for our buck? Should any game charging that much be held to a higher standard? Or do we just accept it like a fart in an elevator, unpleasant, unavoidable, and probably a sign of where the industry's heading? I mean, if a game's going to charge 100 big ones, shouldn't a 910 or 1010 score be the absolute minimum we expect? Well, put the kettle on, grab a cuppa, and let's have a proper mass debate about where gaming is going. Now, before you get your knickers in a twist and start foaming at the mouth in the comments, yes, this video might be out of date by the time you're watching. Maybe GTA 6 came out and it's only 70 greens and a free bag of crisps, or maybe it's $100 and they charge extra if you want to reload your gun. Who bloody knows? But right now, there's a lot of smoke, and usually when that much smoke's there, a fire is brewing somewhere. And wouldn't you know it, even the suits at Sky News have piped up about it just a few days ago, bless them, always late to the party. Now, according to Sky, some expert research analyst, which sounds like a title made up in Weatherspoons, reckons Rockstar and their sugar daddies at Take-Two will have no problem charging $100, and we'll all bend over and take it like good little gamers. The expert in question, none other than Michael Pachter, the bloke who's been chatting absolute pony for years, but somehow still gets invited to the lads' holiday. He reckons we'll pay the 100 without complaint. And honestly, the man's not wrong. We've all pre-ordered crap games before. We gave Cyberspunk a standing ovation before it even left the womb. In fact, these analysts have been banging on about this for months now, probably stroking themselves silly at the idea of GTA 6 setting the new standard for AAA game prices. Even rival publishers are sitting there like vultures around a carcass, hoping Rockstar's got the bollocks to do it first. Because once someone with that kind of clout pulls the trigger, you can bet your nan's teeth every other publisher will follow. Now, of course, let's not ignore the counter argument, because we're fair here at the Cockney Gamer. Well, fairish. Some say GTA 6 will make most of its revenue through online transactions, so it actually makes sense to open the floodgates and let as many punters in as possible. The logic being, bigger audience, more wallets to rinse, more opportunities to sell some poor sod a sequin bikini to strut around Miami. And they've got a point, haven't they? I mean, GTA Online's already a money printing machine. Rockstar could sell a packet of in-game chewing gum to some mug and he would pay $4.99 for it just because it gives his character that 5+ swagger. Now let's look at the history. Game prices have been climbing like a junkie on a scaffolding site. What used to be $40 went to $50, then $60, and now we're at $70, and people still act surprised. So yeah, logically, next step is 80 or 90, but jumping straight to 100, that's not a price rise, that's daylight robbery. So here's the bigger question, right? Where you stand on GTA 6's price tag actually says a lot about where you stand on game pricing as a whole, because it's not just about Rockstar taking the piss here, it's about whether higher prices should get more flack than lower ones. You see, the real problem with modern gaming, aside from the microtransactions, the broken launches, and every developer insisting that you link their bloody game launcher just to boot the game up, is the sheer size and effort that these games demand of you. It's not entertainment anymore, is it? It's admin, a chore, especially with all this live service bollocks. These games don't just want you to play, they want you to clock in. Daily objectives, seasonal XP boosts, limited time rewards. It's a second job, but with worse pay and more shouting 12-year-olds. If you miss a week, tough luck, lads. You've fallen behind. Everyone else has unlocked the golden rocket launcher and you're still running around with a Nerf gun and a pair of flip-flops. Now, after reviewing Assassin's Creed Shadows, I had a moment of clarity. That game is absolutely massive. Yes, not just big, bloody gargantuan, but it's not just Ubisoft, so don't go sending hate mail to some poor French bloke. They're all at it. These studios are playing a game of whose map is bigger, and frankly, it's starting to feel like a digital dick measuring contest. But we keep buying these monsters, we hoard them. Tell me this, how many of you have a Steam backlog longer than your list of regrets? Games you bought in the sale because it was only a fiver, and now it just sits there collecting digital dust like a haunted library. Yeah, me too, I've got enough untouched games to open my own virtual museum, but let's be fair, these games ain't cheap to make either. GTA 6 alone is rumoured to cost a staggering $2 billion to develop. That's billion with a B. To put that in perspective, the most expensive film ever made was around $450 million. So yeah, you could argue that Rockstar's next crime simulator is so pricey that it makes Star Wars look like it was shot on an iPhone in a car park. So maybe, just maybe, they're entitled to slap a fat price on it. But here's where it gets tricky. When I review games, my expectations go up with the price. If I'm shelling out $100, I expect the game to massage my feet and tell me bedtime stories. Take Baldur's Gate 3, right? That gem launched at $50, half the price of what GTA 6 might cost, and it delivered a game so big you'd not see daylight for days, or your wife, or your family for that matter. Multiple playthroughs, different outcomes, brilliant writing, great voice acting. It had everything, and guess what? It was polish, like proper polish. Not we'll fix it in patch 1.8 and we'll sort it later, lads. For $50, that game deserved every bit of its Game of the Year glory, and those sweet 10/10 scores. It didn't just meet expectations, it slapped them, hugged them, and whispered, "Thank you for trusting me." But here's the burning question. Would we be as kind if Baldur's Gate 3 cost $100? Would we still be singing its praises if it emptied our bank account? Tough to say, innit? But I reckon we'd start asking harder questions, start poking holes in things we might have otherwise ignored. Maybe that 10 becomes a 9, maybe that 9 becomes an 8 with a passive aggressive tone. But price does change perception, especially when you start charging the kind of money that could buy you a dozen eggs. And there's the other side of gaming to the whole price debate, and it's one that big publishers like to pretend don't exist, and that's the indie scene. You see, price does not equal quality. No matter how many gold-plated horse testicles Rockstar adds, you can have as much fun in a $10 game like Dave the Diver as you can in AAA beer moths. The thing is, indie games are now punching way above their weight, and they're doing it without demanding a second mortgage. Games like Hades, Stardew Valley, Celeste, tiny budgets, massive heart, and not a single overpriced battle pass in sight. And that, my friend, is where the problem lies for the big dogs, because every time a AAA studio asks for $100, gamers now have a mountain of other options staring at them in the face, and some of them cost less than a fiver and still manage to tell a better story than whatever drivel Ubisoft or new BioWare are cooking up. There's more choice than ever, and with that comes more scrutiny, more comparisons. You charge a premium, you better bloody deliver a premium, not just in graphics but in soul. I mean actual polish, care and gameplay that doesn't make me want to shove my controller where the sun don't shine. The indie market is like that scrappy underdog at the pub quiz who turns out to be a walking encyclopedia. It embarrasses the big boys, and worse for them, it gives us, gamers, perspective, and that's the last thing a $100 price tag wants us to have. So here's the $1 million question, or should I say $100 question. If GTA 6 really does launch at double the price of other Game of the Year contenders, where should our expectations lie? Well, for me, anything less than a 9/10 score suddenly starts to feel like a bit of a flop. Mad, isn't it? Saying a 7 or 8 out of 10 for a game would be disappointing, like calling a Michelin star meal a bit average because the bread wasn't warm enough. But that's what happens when you charge top whack. You're not just selling a game, you're selling perfection, or at least the illusion of it. And when you've got the whole hype machine revved up to 11, where every trailer feels like a Hollywood blockbuster and you're being asked to trade your beer money for bullets and Bentleys, Rockstar are basically challenging us, saying, go on then, have a look at this, lads. This is worth every single penny. And I'll be honest, it rubs me up the wrong way, but who am I kidding as well? Because if Rockstar actually delivers the goods, if GTA 6 lives up to the hype, if I'm ploughing 100 plus hours into it over its lifespan, chasing hookers, dodging tanks and losing sleep because I just want to do one more heist, then yeah, begrudgingly, I'll admit it, it was probably worth every bloody penny. Still stings though. Love to you all, Reggie